Taylor is in the house.
That concert was off the chain. It was spectacular.
I don't fear any fan base the way I fear Taylor Swift.
Alright, so before we begin, I'll just start to say I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I've dibbled and dabbled when I was a kid when she was still heavily into country music. But this would be the first time I've done a deep dive into one of her albums, let alone her discography and life, and these are the overall themes I've noticed from the Tortured Poets department that contrasts a bit from some of her other work. So this album intertwines many real-life topics, showcasing numerous psychological layers within the lyrics, the rollout, and the music videos. There are recurrent references to asylums, imprisonment, emo rage, and death. Swift described the album as a summary of my findings, and after 2 recent breakups, a newfound relationship, and a lifetime in the spotlight, this kind of makes sense. So, prominent theme in this album is the feeling of being an outsider under constant scrutiny.
Taylor will be across the globe performing in Tokyo. She's in her red era.
As she's faced near overexposure recently, the album also addresses her relationships with self-destructive people. It introduces many new elements such as drug references and mature themes. There's a palpable sense of catharsis throughout the album as well, with more explicit language than in her previous works. Several songs feature her referring to herself in the third person or comparing herself to others. This album is remarkably self-aware and transparent, portraying Swift in an unflattering but honest light. She explores her grief often without knowing exactly who or what she's grieving. This profoundly personal exploration truly gives meaning to her self-identification as a tortured poet. There's so much to unpack with this album, and I'll try not to make this video too long, but without further ado though, let's jump right into the dark psychology behind the Tortured Poets department. The album explores various tones of convolution, particularly surrounding the artist's fame. While she loves the fame, it has caused her permanent damage and strained her relationships. One prominent relationship in the album focuses on her connection with a self-destructive drug addict. She doesn't name names, but this is indeed about her relationship with Maddie Healy. In songs like Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, she sings, "You needed me, but you needed drugs more, and I couldn't watch it happen." This reflects her imagining what her ex-lover has been doing since they parted ways. She builds on this theme in the self-titled track, saying, "You're in self-sabotage mode, throwing spikes down on the road, but I've seen this episode and still love the show." This further foreshadows the album's intense and dark imagery. Some notable lyrics include, "Life waters flowers, I wanna kill her. My husband is cheating, I wanna kill him. I might just die, it would make no difference. I just thought about it in the dark night, I felt like I might die." These are only a few of the lyrics that poignantly allude to the themes of death and murder, painting a vivid picture of the artist's emotional turmoil and the impact of her fame on her personal life. Again, a very different and serious tone compared to the tracks I was familiar with before taking a listen. In the album's opening track, she sings, "I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me," introducing the asylum theme that runs throughout the album. This line references a lyric from Hits Different. "I heard your key turn in the door down the hallway. Is that your key in the door? Is it okay? Is it you? Or have they come to take me away?" She continues with, "I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic," highlighting her struggle with alcohol, a recurrent theme in her song since the Reputation era. What once seemed like a harmless hobby now reflects her inner turmoil at the time. Taylor Swift is known for leaving Easter eggs for her fans, revealing secrets about her upcoming projects or her personal life. Midway through the Lover era in 2019 to early 2020, fans noticed a significant shift in her style. Like, she started wearing mostly black in public appearances, a stark contrast to the bright pastels from the beginning of the Lover era. This change may have coincided with the deterioration of her relationship. In her recent works like Folklore, Evermore, and Midnight, Taylor continues to write songs infused with melancholy, turmoil, and anxiety. Despite the public's perception of her perfect relationship, these songs revealed the sadness and distress she was experiencing in her personal life. People were so captivated by the idea of her perfect relationship that they missed the signals she was sending through her art about her inner struggles. So now we move into Self-Destructiveness. I could fix him. No, really, I can. It's about Taylor's mistaken belief that she could fix a man that she's with, but by the end, she realizes that maybe she can't. That's really all there is to it. Like, she sings "A perfect case for my certain skill set which fits our mastermind." She also says, "Trust me, I can handle me a dangerous man," which is an unhealthy mindset to bring into any relationship. And she eventually realizes that "My boy only breaks his favorite toys" paints the song's subject as an immature boy rather than a man. This boy comes across as very self-destructive, almost so afraid of commitment or being abandoned that he ruins the relationship beyond repair. Despite this, the song kinda hard. The boy broke his favorite toy, Taylor. She says she's the queen of the castles he destroys. She also says, I felt more when we played pretend than with all the Kens. Paralleling hits different, where he pulled her out of the box and stole her tortured heart. Taylor explained,
My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys is a song I wrote alone, and it's a metaphor of, from the perspective of a child's toy, being somebody's favorite toy until they break you and then don't want to play with you anymore, which is, you know, how a lot of us are in relationships where we are so valued by a person in the beginning and then all of a sudden they break us or they, you know, devalue us in their mind and we're still clinging on to, no, you should have seen them the first time they saw me, that they'll come back to that, they'll get back to that. So it's kind of like a song about denial, really, so that you can live in this world where there's still hope for a toxic, broken relationship.
The wit, sarcasm, trolling, and sass that comes through in much of the album, particularly in the title track, is hard. Like, she says, you're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith. This ain't the Chelsea Hotel, we're modern idiots. Basically saying that she and her lover aren't the greatest, most talented people in the world, and their love is childish, and isn't as legendary as the Chelsea Hotel. This song seems to be about the narrator being in a relationship with a self-destructive art bro type of guy. The subject seems pretentious, yet the narrator is aware of her own pick-me attitude at times. The Charlie Puth references works and almost seems shady. It makes sense in the context of the line prior, like she says, you smoked and ate 7 bars of chocolate. Who else decodes you? It's a feeling lyric, and she's known for unraveling clues, and this man seems to have many layers. In the bridge, she shifts from witty and sassy to truly heartbreaking lyrics with, you told Lucy you'd kill yourself if I left. At dinner, you take my ring off my middle finger and put it on the one people put wedding rings on. And that's the closest I've come to my heart exploding. She's referring to a situationship over a relationship that lasted over 6 years, which sucks. It's kind of crazy. So from there, we move into Escapism. But Daddy I Love Him is an upbeat track full of sarcasm, seemingly directed at the Swifties for the reactions to her personal choices and relationships. This song is like a modern love story with how it ends happily. It also includes a metaphor for breaking free from past confinement. She says, I don't cater to vipers dressed in empath's clothing. It's a powerful take on the public perception of her personal life. A recurring theme throughout the record is that she doesn't seem to be appealing to the general public, and she mainly created it for the true fans. This song is another one in her discography that kind of romanticizes an iffy situation. And fresh out the slammer seems to represent her relationship with Joe. And it seems like during her hard times with Joe, she imagined herself in a different relationship. This song gives Western Saloon freaky vibes. Like, there seems to be several depictions of her ex trapping her in the relationship. And then we have Florida with Florence and the Machine, which gives no body, no crime type of vibes. Like, she says, so you work your life away just to pay for a timeshare down in Destin, which basically means you work your life away just to afford a partially owned place down south where you only partially see the people who also partially own it. Destin, Florida is known for tourism and retirement, and a timeshare is a residence that you have partial ownership of and that you pay a lot of money for. This works as a metaphor for the cheating husband because various women are with the same slimy man at different times. She seems to be seeking refuge from the relationship's fallout with lyrics like, I need to forget, so take me to Florida. I've got some regrets. I'll bury them in Florida. Speaking to iHeartRadio, she basically explains that Florida is a stereotypical location to which criminals flee to start afresh. She parallels this with the feeling she has whenever she goes through a breakup, stating that she feels like she wants to start afresh, be unknown, and escape. Florida, therefore, felt extra symbolic as a place around which to center this song. The bolter also expresses a sense of freedom with escaping, with the line in the song saying, there's escape in escaping. In the first chorus of LOML, she sings, you said I'm the love of your life, and the song ends with, you're the loss of my life. She combs through braids of lies as she grieves the loss of a former love, whom she seemingly imagined marrying, but he couldn't commit. He essentially wasted her time by not loving her enough and broke her heart, which is so beyond messed up to me. She portrays this sense of settlement in this relationship, and when she sings, you said I'm the love of your life about 1,000,000 times, that seems to insinuate that the more he said it, The lesson, man. There are many marriage references, like "you shit taught me under the table, talking rings and talking in cradles." Expresses how he presented himself differently initially than how he turned out to be, and made an empty promise. Her singing "it was unnecessary, should have let it stay buried" conveys shame in herself for allowing herself to go through with this. Then there's The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. It's a scathing, harsh, and jaw-droppingly angry track. This song, "After I Could Do It With a Broken Heart," represents her finishing her performance on the tour and sitting with her thoughts. She seems to have been ghosted by a short-lived relationship, and she's alluding to being used by him for material. "You said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning. You kicked out the stage lights, but you're still performing." And these bars express as well as, "You tried to buy some pills from a friend of mine's. They just ghosted you. Now you know what it feels like." The bridge of the song is powerful and heartbreaking. She had a lot to say, and she said it. "You deserve prison, but you won't get time. Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? In 50 years, will all this be declassified?" She was angry and hurt. "So Long London" is a scathing, heartbreaking track 5. It's a goodbye letter to London boy. Her feelings of convolution are clear as she knows they had good times and truly loved each other, but he couldn't give her a committed future. And that expression in this track is evident and heartbreaking, yet cathartic. Part of the intro sounds a bit like "Call It What You Want" to me. "How much sad did you think I had in me?" calls back to "You're Losing Me" with the lyrics. How long could we be a sad song? As well as "I'm just getting color back in my face, and my face was gray, but you wouldn't admit that we were sick." Her songs are always full of lyrical parallels, which I tremendously appreciate. She insinuates the desire for commitment, and he couldn't give that to her. The bridge is harsh, saying her knuckles went white holding on to his resentment, and that her friends told her she couldn't be afraid of a love affair. She seems to have felt trapped in this relationship, and toward the end especially, they weren't mentally present in the relationship at all. And then in Down Bad, where she felt a bit down bad, obviously, she says, "Fuck it if I can't have us." This song seems to be at parts calling out her fans directly for dismissing the significance of her past relationship, specifically when she says, "I loved your hostile takeovers, encounters closer and closer, all your indecent exposures." She also says she's down bad, crying at the gym, which most likely refers to her working out in preparation for Era Tour performances.
So a lot of the songs on the Tortured Poets department deal with the idea of heartbreak or loss in a metaphor of something else. The metaphor in Down Bad is that I was comparing sort of the idea of being, like love bombed, where someone rocks your world and dazzles you and then just kind of abandons you, as a alien abduction where you were abducted by aliens, but you wanted, this girl was abducted by aliens, but she wanted to stay with them. And then when they drop her off back in her hometown, she's like, "Wait, no, where are you going? What? I liked it there. It was weird, but it was cool. Come back." The girl in the character in the song has just felt like, I've just been exposed to a whole different galaxy and universe I didn't know was possible. How can you just put me back where I was before?
Other songs that explore heartbreak and revenge include The Black Dog, which is about seeing an ex's location in the bar where they used to go together. How Did It End, which is written as a relationship autopsy of sorts. Thank You, Amy, which is about overcoming public bullying. And The Prophecy, which is about asking some higher power to break this pattern of failed relationships. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is a hauntingly beautiful track about Taylor's fame and life under a microscope. There's a level of satirical elements in this song, but some of it seems completely serious. In this self-written song, she compares her growing up famous as the asylum where they raised me, making several references throughout to being perceived as mentally unstable or crazy. She says, "I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street," which basically alludes to this witch-like imagery representing the public perception of her. "I was tame, I was gentle, till the circus life made me mean. Don't worry folks, we took out all her teeth." Essentially means that she's been knocked down by the public after being a tame, precocious child. What Taylor said about the song is that she wrote that tune alone, sitting at the piano, in one of those moments when I felt bitter about just all the things we do to our artists as a society and as a culture. There's a lot about this particular concept on the Tortured Poets department. She added, "What do we do to our writers and our artists and our creatives? We put them through hell. We watch what they create, then we judge it. We love to watch artists in pain, often to the point when I think sometimes as a society, we provoke that pain and we just watch what happens." I Could Do It With a Broken Heart is an upbeat song with witty yet utterly heartbreaking lyrics, and it's essentially about living on with her life, performing on tour, making music and doing her job, even with a broken heart. She's a master at sad lyrics with upbeat production. I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday every day. I cry a lot, but I'm so productive, it's an art, she sings in the chorus. It provides insight into how she felt during the Eras tour beginning. The transition from LOML to this song represents her putting her painful feelings aside to do her job. Clara Bow is another nothing new situation. She starts the song with "You look like Clara Bow." The second chorus says "You look like Stevie Nicks," and the third chorus says "You look like Taylor Swift." It seems like she's referring to different generations of similar fonts, like she's both worried about being replaced, but also accepting that one day she'll pass the torch to another female artist. Clara Bow was the first it girl. Stevie Nicks went crazy in the 70s, and Taylor Swift is like 97 Jordan. My fault, I had to make it make sense for me. But you know what I mean. This song is a beautiful take on female artists being compared. Taylor delivers an intimate yet guarded insight into her personal life over the past 2 years, much of which contains several dark psychological themes. Well, that's the whole video. If you enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to hit that like button and leave a comment with your own interpretations on the album, as a lot of it could be subjective, so it's nice to read about a new perspective on some of this stuff. And yes, if you're a returning subscriber to the channel, this is the first time I've actually voiced over one of the videos, rather than having someone else do it. Let me know what you think, what could be better, if anything, and if you're new, subscribe and join the family, and let me know what else or what project we should deep dive into. Thanks again for watching, and until the next video, peace.